Animal attraction. We get to the heart of the matter next on Kentucky Afield Radio. In spring, a young man's fancy turns to love. So to attract that certain someone, that leads a young man to turn first to his wit and charm. Then we zero in a little more with our good looks, sultry style, and other attributes. Cupid isn't stupid. To hit the mark, we must accentuate the positive. And if all else fails, we can resort to the Valentine's Day strategy, where you simply walk up and with words or with a card, you ask. Needless to say whether you're pursuing or the one pursued. Selecting a mate exposes the animal instincts in us all.
There's different body language that women use around men and that men use around women, and you find the same types of things happening in the animal kingdom.
Laurie Davison with the Salado Wildlife Education Center in Frankfort knows a thing or two about animal magnetism. For animals, she says, looks do matter. So do scent, sound, and other critter courtship rituals. Examples include the stagnant stench we smell in late winter. That's a sign that skunks are in love.
Skunks typically use their scent when they are mortally threatened, but they also use it during the mating season, both to advertise territory and as an attractant to other skunks. You know, this is Chanel number 5 as far as skunks are concerned.
The antlers of a deer, the fantail feathers of a turkey or peacock, they all play into helping a female select the male that will be a suitable father for her offspring. The human male may display a shiny car and whistles. Now that's not such a bird-brained idea.
Showing off, saying, here I am, notice me. Songbirds are great at this. The male songbirds are the most brilliantly colored birds you'll have, whereas the females really aren't very colorful at all. It's because the males are the ones that are really exerting a lot of energy into showing off and getting the females to notice them.
Crickets sing and cicadas sing, and this is a group of insects that uses light.
Entomologist Dr. David Gordon. He says that lightning bugs are a glowing example that love is alive in the insect world as well.
And what they're doing is the males are making these signals to attract the females, and the females are in the grass or in the vegetation on the ground. And when they see these flashes, they flash back. And so there's a code, like passwords. And this helps that they meet the female from the right species.
Mating isn't random. Even wild animals have to put up with a little rejection. Because, just like you and me, they're looking for the perfect partner.
This is a very critical behavior for survival. You want to make sure that you manage to reproduce yourself. But at the same time, you can never forget your place in the food chain. And so these animals have to constantly be aware of other animals that are potentially going to eat them. Animals in general will only mate during a time that when they give birth, their young are going to survive. So they're not going to want to give birth to young when it's extremely cold outside, or when there's a dry season and there's not very much food, or when there are lots and lots of predators around.
Humans have no set breeding season, though most people think of spring as when animals breed. However, great horned owls prefer the cold of winter. Snakes and turtles, the heat of midsummer. Deer and elk seek their mates in fall. But whenever it occurs, there is no feeling to rival falling in love. Our pulse quickens. We jump for joy, just as if we were rabbits.
Rabbits have a wonderful behavior. You have a female rabbit that when she's ready to mate will charge a male. There will be charging back and forth, leaping up into the air. The female will stand up on her hind legs and box towards the male's face. Doesn't usually make contact. It's more of a show. It's just a ritual.
And speaking of a show, white-tailed deer during the mating season, or rut, show little interest in anything else. Deer specialist John Gassett.
A buck that's pursuing a doe is a completely different animal than a buck that's well before the rut or well after the rut. He's not paying attention to what's going on around him. He's focusing on that doe that's in front of him, and he'll run right in front of the car.
If you're a male praying mantis, then pray for your life. After mating, the female will eat the male nearly a third of the time. While this wildlife version of fatal attraction is rare, generally, if it's a ploy we use as people, it's also at work in the wild. The mating game transcends time, species, and gender, and has left us with one conclusion. Roses are red, violets are blue. Love is a crazy, amazing, puzzling, and scientific thing. It doesn't rhyme, but it's still true. Kentucky Afield Radio is a broadcast service of the Kentucky Department of Fish and Wildlife, your partner in in the great outdoors.